I'm here to introduce the Weld XTT202 AC DC TIG machine. This is a new model. It's a replacement for the XTT202 machine. Straight away you can see the striking difference. This is a much more compact model, about half the size and only about 2/3 of the weight, so it's much easier to move around and transport. It's got all the functionality we had in the 202 machine and a slight improvement in the performance. At the top end, the duty cycle is a little bit better than with the older machine. It's got additional advantages, especially if you're working on site. This machine will work off 110 or 240 volt supply, so you can take it on site without any trouble. The output on 110 volt is reduced slightly, but it still makes the machine very flexible and usable on site. On the back of the machine, you've got a quick connector for the gas, so it's easy to click on and off the gas connection, again helping with the sort of portability and usability of this machine. We're going to move around to the front now and have a look at the controls in a bit more detail. So on the lower front panel, we've got our connections for the work lead and the torch gas supply and the trigger control. These are exactly the same as the XTT202, so your same torch you had on the older machine will fit this newer model as well. In terms of control options, you can have a standard on-off trigger, 3-button trigger which allows current adjustment up and down directly off the torch, or you can plug in a foot control. Again, all exactly the same as the older 202 machine. Moving up to the upper panel here, we use a single knob control, multifunction control, to toggle through the main functions. I'll power the machine up now and we'll just run through that. So we'll power the machine up now, flick the switch, the fan will come on and run for a few seconds, just while the machine boots up. Once the machine's booted up, the fan switches off and it'll only switch back on if the machine heats up and needs the fan cooling, or if you go into MMA mode where the fan will run all the time. So down the side here we've got controls for TIG in 2-touch or 4-touch trigger modes, AC or DC operation, and then in the lower panel to switch on the stick function and then toggle through the anti-sticking and hot start functions. On the left hand side we've got a gas test button, so that press that, it allows you to check the gases coming out of the machine, purge the torch. High frequency or contact lift arc starting, so if the light's off I've got lift arc starting, no HF, lights on I've got high frequency starting, so I don't need to touch the electrode down, and then the bottom control here is whether I've got pulse function on or off, so I'll just toggle that off at the moment. All the remainder of the functions follow through this little bar diagram schematic and use this multifunction control. You can see if I rotate the control, it just moves me through the available functions. So if I start here with pre-gas and I want to adjust that, at the moment it's saying it's on 1 second, so let's just go back to that. Press in, you see the LED flashes, and now I can adjust that pre-gas up or down. So let's have it on 0.5. Press again, solid LED, so I can move on. Slope up time, select, adjust, press again. Welding current, select, adjust, up or down, select it again, and again I can move on. Down slope time, post gas time, flashing, adjust it. So it's really quick and easy and quite intuitive. You know exactly where you are on in terms of the functions as you move through. And depending on the control mode you're in, you notice, for example, I didn't get start current because I'm in 2T current. If I go into 4T trigger control, you can see now I can select a start current. And that's the current that will be held as long as I've got my finger on the button. When I release it, it'll go up to the welding current. So I can adjust that there. And likewise, if I go to the end of the cycle, I've now got a final current adjustment or creative fill, and I can set that to a value and select it. So really sort of nice compact panel, all the main functions on there, and you just toggle through the function you want. If I switch on to AC, you'll see now I get additional functions such as AC balance, AC frequency, and if I switch on the pulse and move through, and now get the pulse functions of pulse frequency, you can see that you can go all the way up to 200 hertz, and in the opposite direction down to 0.5 hertz for the pulse frequency. I can set the background current of the pulse here, and I can set the pulse width also there as a percentage of the total time. So really controllable, full set of functions. I say exactly the same sort of functionality you had on the older machine, but in a much more compact package. The older machine, the fan was running all the time. As you see here, we've got fan on demand, so when we don't need it, it's a very quiet machine sat in the workshop, and obviously reduces your power consumption when it's idling. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. On the next video, we'll show the machine in operation, so you can see a little bit more on the performance of the machine and how it works with the different processes. You perhaps noticed the quality of this video maybe hasn't been up to our normal scratch, but we're recording this in COVID-19 lockdown procedures, so I'm filming on my own at the moment and just relying on the magic of the video editor to try and cover up all my mistakes. Thanks for watching. Bye.